Hello there. What is going on, everyone? We've got some interesting details on the upcoming Legion expansions that are coming out this year. The Bad Batch, the Ranged Troopers, and Clone Commandos. There are a lot of interesting new details that have come out recently, and we're going to talk about some of these that came out of the GAMA trade show that was in Las Vegas. This is a particularly interesting trade show that usually has a couple of pre-Adepticon leaks, and I thought it's a good time to talk about those. If you guys are new here to the channel, we talk a lot about Star Wars tabletop gaming. We are also still doing the $25 Amazon gift card giveaway. You just have to be a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos. It's as simple as that. We'll be announcing the winner for that later this week, so there is still time left to enter. Also, I'd love to invite you to subscribe for just, for good measure, because I'd love to have you stick around. Like the video, share the video, check the links in the video description below, and hopefully I can keep you entertained while you're here. So let's get right to it. Bad Batch are coming out, and now it looks like they're coming out in July. The pre-order, it's unclear if pre-order means pre-orders will open in July or if they are going to go up for pre-order in July. We've talked about this a little bit, similar graphics with some of the Star Wars Shatterpoint expansions that are going up for pre-order, because for similar slides in other cases they've shown a pre-order month as also being the same month that a product actually came out. So either way, either pre-order or release in July. I think it'll probably be a July release, because after all, these were revealed. They were first spoiled a year ago at last year's Adepticon. And so, if they're only going up for pre-order in July, that would be like a year and a half, maybe, possibly closer to 2 years, depending on how long. So I don't think it's that. I think they'll probably come out in July. I think they'll also give them a good preview at Adepticon. But what I think is really interesting, and the question that I want to see answered in the Adepticon preview, is what exactly are we getting with the Bad Batch expansion? Because while it looks like we do get 6 miniatures, which is very cool. Again, we have seen a lot of these already painted and put together on stream. AMG has definitely been doing what they can to kind of promote the hobby aspect of the Bad Batch. I'm curious about the actual cardboard aspect of the Bad Batch, primarily because when these were announced, Will Schick teased the Bad Batch as not only augmenting Republic armies, but also Rebel armies. That he said they would be a dual faction unit. And what we can see in this graphic is a Republic symbol only. Now, that isn't certainly conclusive of anything, because what we've seen in the past, if you've followed a lot of the different rumors and stories and things that have broken with images, sometimes these mock-ups are not final. Sometimes these mock-ups go through multiple revisions, so this could be not final artwork. It's certainly possible. Plenty of examples come to mind on, for example, the swoop bikes had all like the wrong base, even in the artwork. Sometimes even the miniature you see isn't necessarily reflective of exactly what you're going to get. If we jump to the Shadow Collective, there was images that Rook Cast was going to initially come in the box for the Mandalorian Super Commandos, and then it was changed that no, she doesn't actually come with that, even though the box art that we leaked said that she did come with it. So again, we don't know if this is final or not. This sort of thing can happen where there's just a mock-up that was, at one phase in production, and who knows. But I'm definitely hoping to get some clarification at the Adepticon live event, the studio update that they're going to be doing, because I think a lot of Rebel players were definitely hoping that the Bad Batch would work in the Rebellion, and I'm curious how that may have changed, if it has changed. Would it be maybe a licensing issue? I don't think if it changed, I don't think they're going to talk about, because that would be a kind of a behind-the-scenes change. But I'm curious if they'll at least address it, or if they'll try and say that, oh, Will Schick misspoke a year ago when he announced these as being a dual-faction unit. It was very specific and very clear. Like, these are for Rebels and for Republic. It is a dual-faction unit. Like very, very clear. So I'm curious why the graphic here shows Republic only, and maybe, again, it could just be a mock-up, could be just a little mistake, or maybe the unit has changed. Or there's another option. Maybe they are dual faction in some respect, but it's still primarily a Republic unit. And one way that you could do that is maybe you can run the whole unit together as a Republic, but maybe you can only run certain miniatures in the Rebellion. Maybe you can't run Hunter in the Rebellion. You know, maybe you can't run Omega in the Republic. I don't know. Like, I want to see all the different ways that this could work, and maybe they function totally different under the Rebellion. Maybe they function as their own whole unit, but maybe in the Rebellion you can just take like one of them as a heavy that can go into like a trooper unit or something like that. I'm curious if they'll have a whole different set of unit cards, or better yet, well, maybe not better yet, but optionally, maybe the Rebel cards that would equivocate to these units. Is that a word? Equivocate? Maybe the rebel cards for this will find their way into a card pack number 3 or something like that, because I think Legion really could use another card pack. I'd really love to see that. And if there is another card pack coming out, we've seen it in card pack 2 where there were different optional, alternate unit cards for existing units that it was allowed, to get Cad Bane to be his all the Merc cards and stuff like that. So if you wanted to have people jump faction, putting them in a card pack is a great way to do it. So there's a lot of different ways that this story could evolve. But the simplest of which could be that it might just be the wrong box art, or the non-final box art. We'll have to wait and see. I imagine we'll get a lot more of this information at Adepticon. Moving forward, we got some other things, not as kind of juicy as that, but the Clone Commandos. Of course, we knew they were coming. This is a very much sought after unit. They're going to be very exciting. You are getting 4 miniatures, it looks like, in this, and this is going to. Oh, by the way, let me back up. Let me back up just a little bit. These guys are going to be operatives as well. Going to be real interesting to see how this works as operatives. Again, are they going to do it just like they did with the Inquisitors, where it's like, oh, you can take one, and then you can take another one, you can take all 6, and they only use 1 slot, or you can take all 6, so they're going to use 2 slots. I don't know. I'm really curious about that. All right, so the Clone Commandos coming in look very similar to like Royal Guard for me. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting, like that whole or the. It's the unit of 3, and then you got that extra heavy, right? So it looks like we've got 3 regular, and we get that other longer range rifle there on the right hand side. It looks like a small little pack, $34.99. Looks like May is when we can expect to see the Clone Commando. So these are not coming out alongside the Bad Batch. They will be, it looks like, a month afterwards. Whether or not they come out in these, or these are pre-orders open on these dates, if they're opening a month apart from each other, then they're probably going to deliver a month apart from each other. So yeah, the Clone Commandos look pretty cool. It's again, we don't have a whole lot of information on them yet, but we'll definitely get more as it gets closer. I expect them to be pretty strong, though. I do expect them to be pretty strong. Plus, if you wanted to run Scorch and then like that unit from Republic Commando, they're supposed to have alternate ways to be able to run these guys. So you can run them as regular clones, or you can run them as the specific, as that unique unit. Doing something kind of like they did with Clan Ren or Inferno Squad. I think we're going to see something like that here, which is pretty cool. I don't know if there's a CIS equivalent to be able to like take an existing, like an elite unit, and run them as like a unique version of a unit. Let me know in the comments if you think there'd be a good contender for a CIS unit to try to do that for Separatists. Nothing comes to mind right now, but I'm sure there's probably some stuff. Maybe if they did Night Sisters or something like that. I don't know if there's a way to do that. And would Night Sisters even be CIS, or would they just be complete mercs? I don't know. I'm getting it kind of far out there with these. Plus, we all know the next battle force that's coming is going to be Gungans anyway, right? All right, let's go ahead and. The other thing is the range troopers. They don't have an image for them, but apparently some info was leaked on range troopers that they're actually going to be a support, which is interesting to have troopers that are going to be a support. I feel like the definitions of some of the ranks have sort of been blurred, especially since the Dark Troopers came out and were heavy that were troopers. We're going to have supports that are possibly troopers at some point too, which is going to be pretty interesting. I think that's going to be pretty interesting. There was a lot of discussion on that. But again, you can't always trust all the leaks. I'm going to kind of withhold all of that just to see if it's... And it was a leak from an official site, but again, sometimes the artwork or sometimes the information on the official sites are wrong, and maybe that's why it got pulled, because it was inaccurate. So, we're going to have to wait and see. We don't have long to wait, because the 24th March 24th, Sunday, March 24th, is the AMG Studio panel. That'll be at noon CST. They have a 30-minute time block. All right, so it's from 12 to 12:30. Now, there are only 3 games that they've said they're going to talk about here, and that's going to be Legion, and Marvel Crisis Protocol, and Star Wars Shatterpoint. But I have heard that they may be talking about the other games as well. Probably not with as much significance, but there would probably be at least something mentioned about the other games. I'll do my best to cover whatever they do talk about. I believe there will be some community members out there streaming as well. I was not able to. It doesn't look like I'm going to be at Adepticon this year. I was definitely hoping to get a chance to get out there, but it just didn't line up for me this year. But yeah, I think Yavin Base is going to be streaming out there, so you can go ahead and I'll definitely share when they're when I get confirmation of that, I'll definitely share it out, because I think a lot of folks would love to watch, and I am definitely among them. I will not be restreaming or doing anything like that this year, because again, it's a really short stream, but definitely I'll be watching along, and big thanks to Yavin Base for putting up the good fight. By the way, really good Legion content creator, so definitely give them a shout out, or I'm giving them a shout out, give them a follow. So all right, I think that's gonna do it for this video. I want to thank you guys again. Just lots more information coming at the end of the month, or close to the end of the month. On the 24th, we're gonna get tons, plus Worlds are happening, and so it's a really exciting time for Legion, and for all of these games. It's a really exciting time for miniature gaming as a whole. Even for games that I don't cover very much, like Warhammer has been teasing some Age of Sigmar stuff. I think we're going to see 4th edition teased, or it's already kind of starting to be teased, so hopefully we'll get some news on that. And it's all kind of, what's your favorite minis game that I haven't talked about already that you're hoping to see some news of at Adepticon? Let me know down in the comments. All right, that's going to do it for today. I want to thank you all so much for watching. Big thanks to my patrons as well. You guys are awesome and help make this whole channel possible. We'll talk to you later. May the Force be with you. Live long and prosper. Be excellent to each other. Party on, dudes, and always wash your socks.